There are moments in life when it feels like waiting has stretched too long, prayers have gone unanswered, and the silence of heaven becomes heavy. But what if the delay is not denial? What if the very season of waiting is proof that something powerful is on the horizon? Breakthrough often comes not when you expect it, but when you least expect it. The signs are there, subtle but clear, if only you know how to recognize them. Today, let's uncover 7 unmistakable indicators that your season of restoration is about to shift and that your long-awaited breakthrough is nearer than you think. You may have noticed that in the middle of waiting, when everything around you seems uncertain and chaotic, there comes a sudden shift within. It doesn't always happen dramatically. It might be so quiet you barely notice at first. But instead of feeling anxious, restless, or desperate, there is a strange calm that settles in your heart. It doesn't match your circumstances, and it doesn't make sense in the natural. Bills might still be unpaid, relationships still unrepaired, doors still shut, and yet somehow deep inside you feel steady. That inner calm is not something you created, because your flesh still wants answers, your mind still has questions, and your situation hasn't yet changed. This peace comes from a higher place. It is the quiet confirmation that something is shifting in the unseen. It's the first sign that your breakthrough is near. This peace is different from numbness. Numbness comes when you stop caring, when your hope dies, and when you disconnect emotionally from what you once longed for. But the peace I'm talking about is full of life. It is filled with hope even when logic says there is no reason to hope. It is a peace that doesn't silence your desires, but strengthens your faith to believe they will still come to pass. You stop fighting against time. You stop questioning whether restoration will ever happen. Instead, you rest not in your own strength, but in the assurance that what has been promised is already on its way. Think about how storms work. Before the sky clears, before the sun breaks through, there is often a moment when the winds settle, when the heaviness lifts, and silence hangs in the air. That is what this peace feels like. It doesn't mean the storm of your life is over yet, but it is a preview of what's coming. It's a divine signal telling you that you are aligned with what's unfolding. Even if your eyes don't yet see the evidence, this peace cannot be faked. You might have tried to talk yourself into calmness before, repeating affirmations or trying to suppress your fear, only to feel it rise again. But when this inner peace comes, you know it's different. It carries weight. It feels as though your soul has exhaled after holding its breath for too long. It doesn't erase every question, but it fills you with trust so deep that the questions no longer torment you. You begin to feel safe in the waiting, not because the waiting is easy, but because you sense you are no longer waiting in vain. The beauty of this sign is that it shows up right before things begin to move in your favor. It's as if heaven wants you settled before the doors open, so that when opportunities arrive, you can walk through them with confidence and not with panic. That sudden, unexplainable inner peace is the whisper of a breakthrough approaching. It's your spirit's way of telling you, hold on, restoration is closer than you think. There comes a time in the waiting season when things that once felt permanently locked begin to shift. For so long, you may have faced closed doors, opportunities denied, applications rejected, relationships that didn't work, paths that seemed blocked at every turn. You prayed, you tried, you knocked, and nothing moved. It felt like heaven itself was silent, and the frustration of standing in front of doors that would not open wore you down. But then, almost out of nowhere, something changes. Doors that you had no power to unlock begin to swing open on their own. Situations that resisted you suddenly make room for you. This is not by accident. It is a divine orchestration that signals your breakthrough is drawing near. When doors start opening, it often happens in ways you don't expect. The very job that seemed impossible to secure suddenly calls you back. The person who ignored you for months suddenly reaches out. A project that once felt dead begins to revive. Even the smallest opening, a call, a meeting, a new contact, carries weight, because it is not the size of the door that matters, but the timing of it. What you need to understand is that these openings are not random opportunities. They are signs of alignment, evidence that the season has shifted and that restoration is in motion. The interesting part is that these doors rarely open by your striving. In fact, you'll notice that you weren't even pushing as hard when they began to unlock. That's because breakthrough doesn't come from forcing, it comes from timing. When the moment is right, no amount of resistance can hold it closed. And when the moment is wrong, no amount of effort can make it open. These sudden shifts remind you that it's not about your ability, but about divine timing working on your behalf. Another thing you'll notice is that not every door that opens is meant to be walked through, but every door teaches you something. Some open just wide enough to show you what's possible, to encourage your faith, and to prepare you for the greater opening ahead. Others swing wide and invite you to step into the very answer you've been waiting for. Either way, the pattern of opening shows you that delay was never denial. It was preparation. This is also why right before your breakthrough, you begin to see multiple signs of movement. Things happen too perfectly to be coincidences. You meet someone at just the right time. A conversation happens that changes your perspective. Resources show up exactly when you need them. What once was locked now feels as if invisible hands are turning the key for you. That's because doors are not just physical, they are spiritual. And when God decides it is time, the doors will open no matter who tried to shut them before. So when you start to notice that doors are moving, don't dismiss it as luck. Recognize it for what it is, confirmation. Your waiting season is turning into a walking season. What was once blocked is becoming accessible, and every opening you see is pointing to one truth. Your breakthrough is not far, it is right in front of you. There comes a point in your journey when things you once held on to start to slip away, almost without effort. People you thought would be permanent in your life begin to drift. Habits you used to enjoy no longer satisfy you. Even distractions that once consumed your time start to feel meaningless. At first, it may feel unsettling. You wonder why relationships are fading, why old routines don't fit, why the things that used to comfort you now leave you empty. But this is not loss without purpose. This is pruning. It is the quiet preparation that happens right before breakthrough, a sign that your spirit is being freed from what cannot go with you into your next season. Often, the removal begins with people. Friends who were once close no longer connect with you the same way. Conversations feel shallow. Connections grow distant. Sometimes it hurts because you don't understand why people are leaving your life. But you must realize, not everyone is meant to walk with you into your restoration. Some people belong only to the chapter you are leaving behind. Their presence served a purpose in the waiting, but their absence serves a greater purpose in the breakthrough. By letting them go, you are making room for the right voices and the right people who will align with the new season. It's not just people, it's also patterns. Habits that once seemed harmless begin to weigh you down. You notice how certain choices drain your energy or steal your focus. What used to entertain you now feels empty. The late night scrolling, the unnecessary distractions, the cycles of procrastination, they start losing their grip. Why? Because breakthrough requires focus. You cannot step into restoration carrying behaviors that hold you back. So your spirit begins to detach, pushing you toward discipline and clarity even before you fully realize what's happening. This falling away also extends to your inner world. Thoughts and lies that used to dominate your mind lose their power. You no longer obsess over what people think. You stop replaying the past in your head. Even the weight of regret begins to loosen. It's as if the heaviness that clung to you is being peeled off layer by layer. At first, it feels strange to release it because you've carried it for so long. But as it leaves, you feel lighter, freer, and more prepared to step into the restoration that's waiting for you. The important thing to remember is that when something falls away, it is making space. Breakthrough always comes with new connections, new opportunities, and new responsibilities. But the new cannot arrive while your hands are still holding on to the old. The removal is not punishment, it is preparation. Each goodbye, each release, each ending is a silent announcement you are getting closer to the beginning of something greater. So instead of resisting the loss, See it for what it is, a sign. The pruning is proof that you are moving forward. The fact that things are falling away means your breakthrough is not just coming, it is almost here. As you move closer to your breakthrough, something powerful begins to shift within you. Your sensitivity to divine timing and spiritual alignment becomes sharper. Where once you may have rushed ahead, trying to make things happen in your own strength, you now start to feel an inner awareness guiding you. You notice nudges, whispers, and promptings that are subtle but undeniable. You sense when to pause and when to move. You recognize when to wait and when to act. This heightened discernment is not just intuition, it is preparation. It's a sign that you are aligning with a greater plan and that restoration is unfolding right on schedule. You may find yourself paying more attention to small details that you used to overlook. A passing comment, a sudden thought, a quiet inner pull. They stand out to you in ways they never did before. What used to feel like coincidence now feels intentional. Your spirit becomes more awake, alert to the patterns around you. You realize that delays don't mean denial, they mean timing. And this awareness keeps you from forcing doors open prematurely or staying too long in places you've already outgrown. This sensitivity also changes the way you respond to challenges. Instead of panicking when things don't go your way, you begin to see setbacks as redirections. You no longer waste energy fighting battles that aren't yours to fight. You no longer chase after opportunities that are clearly not meant for you. Instead, you learn to release control and trust that the right moment will reveal itself. This trust frees you from exhaustion because you stop trying to bend time to your will and start flowing with divine timing instead. You may even notice that your perspective on waiting shifts. What once felt unbearable now feels purposeful. The waiting doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means the foundation is being set. Just like seeds must stay hidden in the soil before they break through the ground, your breakthrough requires unseen preparation before it becomes visible. This understanding brings you peace because you no longer measure progress only by what you can see. You recognize that the unseen work is just as important as the visible results. Another sign of this alignment is that you start saying no more easily. You refuse distractions that don't serve your growth. You decline opportunities that don't align with your values. You resist the urge to settle for less than what you've been promised. This clarity doesn't come from arrogance. It comes from alignment. You know where you're heading, and anything that pulls you off track is simply not worth it. This growing awareness is proof that your spirit is preparing you for restoration. You are no longer just moving aimlessly. You are moving with direction. You are no longer blinded by impatience. You are guided by discernment. And this discernment is one of the clearest signs that your breakthrough is near. Because when your inner world begins to line up with divine timing, your outer world will soon follow. Right before the breakthrough comes, the resistance almost always intensifies. It feels as if the challenges grow heavier, the storms grow louder, and the obstacles multiply instead of shrinking. You might even wonder if you've taken a wrong turn, because everything seems harder than before. But this is one of the clearest signs that you are close to restoration. The pressure that builds in the final stretch is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to strengthen you and confirm that something is about to shift. The darkest part of the night is always right before dawn, and the same is true in your spiritual journey. You may notice that life feels overwhelming in ways it didn't before. Old struggles that you thought you overcame may suddenly resurface. Unexpected challenges might appear, testing your patience and your faith. Relationships may feel strained, finances might tighten, or your emotions might feel fragile. It's as though everything hits at once, leaving you drained. But the truth is, this resistance is a signal, not a setback. The enemy doesn't fight what isn't a threat, and the intensity of the battle is proof of the significance of what's about to break through. Think about it like childbirth. The pain is greatest just before the delivery. The contractions intensify, and the struggle peaks right before new life enters the world. In the same way, your struggle reaching its highest point is often the very moment when breakthrough is closest. The pressure you feel is not random. It is the labor of restoration, the stretching of your soul before you step into something new. During this season, it's easy to feel like giving up. The weight makes you question whether all your waiting and praying has been worth it. You may even feel tempted to go back to old patterns or settle for less just to escape the pressure. But this is where endurance matters most. Breakthroughs are often missed not because they weren't coming, but because people quit just before they arrived. The key is to recognize that the very intensity of your struggle is a hidden announcement you are right at the edge of change. It is also during this time that your faith is refined. When everything is stripped away and you can't rely on your own strength, you are forced to lean deeper into trust. You learn to stand firm even when the ground feels shaky. You learn to hold on when letting go feels easier. And this endurance not only carries you to the breakthrough, it also prepares you to sustain it once it arrives. So if you are facing battles that feel too heavy, if you are overwhelmed by pressure that seems unfair, know this: it is not the end. It is the sign that you are closer than you realize. Resistance does not mean abandonment. It means acceleration. It means the enemy senses what is about to happen, and the opposition is proof that your restoration is almost here. One of the most powerful signs that your breakthrough is near is the quiet but undeniable rise of expectancy within you. It's not forced optimism, and it's not blind hope. It's a deep knowing that something is about to shift in your life. Even when your circumstances haven't changed, even when you can't see physical evidence yet, there's a stirring inside you that whispers, it's coming. This sense of expectancy often shows up when everything on the outside says you should give up. It defies logic. It doesn't come from what you see. It comes from what you feel in your spirit. This inner conviction can be confusing at first. You might look around and wonder why you suddenly feel so hopeful when your situation looks the same. Bills are still due, doors are still closed, prayers seem unanswered. Yet somehow, you can't shake the belief that change is closer than it has ever been. That's because expectancy is not based on sight, it's rooted in faith. It's the evidence of things not yet seen, the assurance that what you've been waiting for is on its way. Expectancy also changes how you carry yourself. You begin to walk differently. You approach challenges with a confidence you didn't have before. You stop speaking like a victim of delay and start speaking like someone who is preparing for fulfillment. You rearrange your mindset, your habits, even your daily routines to align with what you believe is coming. Just like someone who sets the table before the meal arrives, you start preparing your life for restoration even before it shows up. That shift in posture is a clear sign that breakthrough is near. Another mark of expectancy is that it makes you more resilient. Problems that would have broken you before don't hit as hard now, because deep down you know they are temporary. Disappointments don't stick the same way because you recognize they're just detours, not dead ends. This resilience isn't denial. It's the strength that comes from expecting something greater. It allows you to rise each day with determination, even when the wait feels long, because you sense the waiting will not be wasted. Expectancy also draws things to you. When you carry faith and anticipation, you attract opportunities, people, and resources that match the season you're stepping into. Others may even notice the change in your energy and outlook. They might not understand why you seem so sure, but they can feel that something about you is different. That inner glow, that unshakable assurance is not just for you. It's a signal to the world around you that breakthrough is approaching. The truth is, expectancy is the final push before manifestation. It's the seed of faith maturing into full confidence. It's the moment your spirit declares, even before your eyes see it, that restoration is coming. So when you feel that rising anticipation within, don't dismiss it, lean into it, celebrate it. Because that growing faith is not false hope. It's the undeniable sign that your long-awaited breakthrough is right at the door. You may look back on the waiting and wonder why it had to take so long, why the silence felt so heavy, why the battles grew so intense. But now you can see the pattern. Peace settled in your heart when it shouldn't have. Doors that were sealed began to open. Toxic weights and old habits started falling away. Your spirit sharpened to divine timing. The resistance intensified. And then, out of nowhere, a bold expectancy rose within you. None of these things are accidents. They are the markers of transition, the clear signs that your waiting has been preparing you for restoration. Every tear, every delay, every struggle was not wasted. It was shaping you for this very moment. The breakthrough you've prayed for, the restoration you've longed for, the shift you've been waiting on is closer than you think. The signs are all pointing in the same direction forward. You are no longer stuck, no longer circling the same mountains. You are stepping into a new season, carrying peace, clarity, strength, and faith with you. So don't let the final stretch shake you. Don't mistake the resistance for defeat. Don't overlook the small openings or dismiss the rising hope within you. These are not random feelings or coincidences. They are confirmations. They are heaven's way of telling you that your breakthrough is near. Stand firm, keep believing, and prepare your heart, because what you've been waiting for is about to unfold. And when it does, you will know without a doubt that it was worth every moment of the wait.